Hello, thank you for taking the time to watch this short webinar on negotiating salaries or negotiating pay for your healthcare practitioner. You're interviewing someone, and this person is a healthcare practitioner. They have a license, often they have qualifications, whatever the case may be, and you're trying to figure out exactly how you're going to come up with a number which is reasonable and, to a certain extent, negotiable for you and for them, so that both parties can work together. So where do we start and what do we have to do? The very first thing that you need to know is, what was their salary last year, or perhaps we may be saying the take-home pay. How much did they end up with? What did they have? So let's say they were taking home $80,000. That's what they took home. This is what they were left with. It's important for you to know, because whatever position you're going to offer to them, whatever options you're going to negotiate or discuss, is going to have an impact on the end results, depending on how it was for them last year. And some of them may be willing to take a pay cut because they've moved from one place to another, or perhaps their family has had something to deal with. But at the end of the day, you can't be too far from that number. It's going to make a big difference. So that's the first thing to know. Here's the second thing. What is their personal, at this point, personal financial need? How much do they need? What is that? Do they need $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month to be able to take care of their needs? It's different if a person is somewhat older and they have an older child, let's say, who is in college. Now you're talking several $1,000s that they may have to pay for that. Or if they are possibly, unfortunately, in the middle of a divorce and they have to pay for attorney fees. They may also have a large car payment, something that they bought, or something that they purchased which they may be liable for and perhaps even regret. A boat, a second home, refinance their home, and now the mortgage is much higher because they did some construction. Whatever the case may be, you need to know, it's important to know during this interview, what is your personal need? I need to know. How much do you need every month to survive? So that at least you know the bottom line. You know what they will need to be secure. And that's your top priority, while this is their bottom negotiating number. Next is find out, what is their financial goal? What is it that you're trying to earn in the future? What is it that you want? What are you looking for? You want to know this because it's important to find out from an employer, as far as you're concerned. I want to know, since I'm trying to figure out if this is a match for both of us, it's going to be a win-win situation. What are your goals? What are the objectives, financial objectives that you're looking for? You want to know this, and it's got to be a number. If the person says, I really don't know, that's an issue, because that means they're not focused. If they say, well, I'd like to make $10 million, well, that's a joke, and that's not really funny, because you're not going to make $10 million working as a healthcare practitioner or in this office. It doesn't make sense. And could you have aspirations? What is the number? Typically, it should be whatever they earned last year plus a percentage so they could grow. And then they should be able to say, my goals are to earn 10 to 15% more each year and keep on growing that way. See, that's a good answer. That's a reasonable projection, something which is attainable. But if they say, I want to quadruple, I want to make $10 million, I want to make $5 million, I want to burst out of my bubble, and reasonable and not what you want to hear, and they mean it as a joke, you say, that's cute, but what is the real number? And find out about it. It'll make a difference. It'll give you a better understanding of who they are as a person. Now, of course, it could be an hourly pay or a salary. You would want to know on the part of that, are you going to negotiate from the hourly or from the salary? This needs to be clearly outlined on your contractual agreement. There should be no misunderstanding. Let me just say a parenthesis here. It's important to have a contract. For those of you that are not used to using contract, it's a mistake. I would highly recommend that every single negotiated party that you deal with should have a written contract signed by both parties. That way there'll be no misunderstanding. It's clearly listed exactly what you want, what you've got. Have you ever applied for a loan or perhaps even purchased a home, and they give you a stack of documents, pages and pages and pages, with the writing all over the place? You know why? They have considered all the various options that are there and taken focus and make sure you are understanding all this. Now, most people don't read all these clauses. Most people don't read all the provisions that are included in this contract. But you know what? You should. You should, because that way you know in advance exactly what you're getting into. At least once. Same thing with a lease. How often do I hear from some of my clients, I want to do this, but I'm not sure. And I'll say, well, have you checked the lease? And then they'll check on the lease and go, oh my gosh, I did not know I can't do that. I did not know there would be a penalty. I did not know there would be these restrictions. Yeah, there are important clauses that you should know. So the contract between the two parties should be clearly outlined. Both parties should clearly say, what they want, what they need. And then give it to the attorney and let him put it into the right language. Because sometimes, as a non-attorney, with all due respect, we say things, but we use terms that are too broad. Attorney who's qualified to do this will be able to give you the right advice. And even though it may cost you a little more money, it's well worth the time. Then we talk about the bonus. Now, the bonus itself can be based on performance, or it could be based on work, depending on the tasks and duties that you give them. Whatever the case may be, you want to make sure that that performance bonus, or the bonus that you're going to offer, is legal in your state. So after you worked out the details of what you think you would like, call your attorney. Contact your healthcare attorney and find out, can I give a bonus, and can it be structured this way and that way? Once your attorney tells you it's yes, then go ahead and structure it. Make sure that's also part of the contract. It'll make a big difference in the negotiations. Then comes the benefits. Now, there are many benefits. And of course, each and every benefit can be discussed and can be negotiated. I don't believe that there is a standard benefit that everybody gets. No. I mean, some things are more common than others, like health insurance, but it's not standard. It's all negotiated, and each and every single party is different. Every office is different. We manage over 1,200 offices in 45 states, and I've been a consultant since 1994. I have never seen a process or a product or a contract that looks exactly the same as another. It doesn't make sense. So what are some of the benefits that we have? Well, one is malpractice insurance. You could pay some of it, most of it, or none of it. It's all negotiable. Another is health insurance. There could be the health insurance for the practitioner and the extra coverage for the family. Well, you might want to pay for the practitioner, but not the family. Depending on the size of the family, depending if they have pre-existing condition, the price could change. What about sick leave? Sick leave is something that people want to know. If they're not well at one point in time, would they be paid for that? There is a reasonable amount of time that they should be able to take off if they're not well. Vacation time. Vacation time is something that's also negotiated. There may be a temporary probation period, let's call it that, meaning that for the first 6 months there is no benefit, and then the benefit starts after a period of time. That's also reasonable. And then you may accumulate a certain amount of hours per month. 3 hours per month, which at the end of the year comes out to be a certain amount of days. And then now that comes out to be their vacation time. What about national holidays? Are they going to be paid for those days? Those are days that the clinic is closed. Will they be paid? And then personal days off. Can they take off on those personal days? And if so, will those be paid, compensated for? Or what's the story? Or do they have a certain amount of personal days that you're just giving them without pay? Then there's continuing medical education. Obviously, they may need those hours to qualify for relicensing. And there's a part where there's the course itself, and then the travel. Are you going to pay some of it, most of it, or none of it? If so, during the time they're taking the courses, will they also be paid for their time? Are you going to pay for this relicensing? Something that needs to be contemplated and discussed and There's no reason whatsoever to leave this in the open, whatsoever. Another one is also profit-sharing plan. It's the ability to invest money for the company and let everyone benefit from that. It's a great opportunity for you to let everyone know in the office that part of the money that is earned, the revenue that comes into the clinic, is something which could be shared and benefited by everyone in the office. And those are things that you want to contact either your accountant or financial advisor and help you set that up. There are many tax advantages to doing something like this, and there are great ways to set this up where it benefits literally everyone. Last but not least, something which I believe in personally, and that is the potential of ownership. I am a strong proponent, I believe, to have ownership in something. I think you could do that. I think you could do this easily by letting them be part of the clinic. Now you might say, why would I do that? They're just an associate. Well, if you make them a partner, it becomes a different type of relationship. I mean, you see legal firms, for instance, large firms. They start as associates and then they move their way up and then they become partners in the firm. The same thing when it comes to accountants. They become partners at one point in time. Having a partner in the ownership, having a partner in the clinic can make a big difference to the results that you're going to get. Let me just say also something else which I think is important. If they're partners, they're working towards a goal which is both beneficial to you and to them. Now, partnership also brings in responsibility, liabilities, and expenses. They are also responsible for the expenses. If I own 20% of the clinic, I also have 20% of the expense. 20% is a liability. So there are things that could be negotiated where both benefits are to you and to this associate. You may also give them a time. Doesn't mean that they become an associate and they turn into partner within 3 months. It's not going to happen. That doesn't make sense. But you can let them know that if they reach certain goals over a period of time, then partnership, potential partnership, will be highly considered or something which will be automatic. I strongly suggest that you look into this and that you think about it because it will make a difference. I can tell you for a fact that I have hundreds of clinics, as I mentioned earlier. I've been a consultant for many years, since 1994, and the thousands of clinics that we manage over all the whole country. I can honestly say that the doctors who are generous and have set up a system whereby the associates become part owners have risen above and beyond all the other clinics. They're making a lot more money. They're happier. They have so much more. As one person once said, if you help others get what they need, you will get everything you want. And this is a true statement, and I believe in that. And why not help them? Why not help them become part owner and share in the growth? You can also then think about opening up other clinics or perhaps other centers, satellite concepts. There's so much to be done. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If you have questions, you're welcome to contact me at any time by writing to me at Dr. Dahan at dahanlive.com, or perhaps even calling me and letting me know what you want. You can reach me at 888-67-DAHAN, 888-6724, 673-2426. Call me and let me know. I hope to hear nothing but good news from you, and I wish you the best in everything that you do. God bless you. Thank you.